What's good, peeps? This is Nino. 2 pennies, 2 cents, another edition of my podcast. First of all, I hope everybody's in good graces. Everybody is healthy, going about their business in the right way. And if you're even going about your business in the wrong way, slow down and try to get it the right way. I like to shout out to all my people who've been riding with me as I continue this climb from adversity to prosperity, as I continue this climb from ground zero to the highest heights. Today, I want to talk about something that is trending on social media. Miss Dawn Robinson, Envogue. Miss Dawn Robinson of the group Envogue. Y'all remember, well, millennials don't, but old school like me and people slightly younger and possibly older. The group Envogue, which originated in 1989 out of Oakland, California. It had a quartet of beautiful women. The members' names were Dawn Ellis, Terry Ellis, Dawn Robinson, Cindy Heron, and Maxine Jones. I remember growing up and checking them ladies out. Cindy was my favorite. She was that light-skinned, tall girl that I loved. She often was the lead singer. But anyway, Envogue was a great woman's group back in the day. And they had hits like My Love, You're Never Gonna Get It, Hold On, and Don't Go. Anyway, Miss Dawn Robinson, Envogue, has been homeless, living in her car for 3 years. Miss Robinson said she decided to try living in her car after researching a trend called van life. This trend came upon prominence around the time the coronavirus was out, when the pandemic was going on, and people permanently lived in their car. This lady in that group was an iconic group. Now, she said she's trying this. I beg to differ. A group that great, first of all, you don't have nobody that you could go to family-wise, because all this is telling me is she has came up on hard times. She doesn't have much money, because nobody is just going to try to be homeless. Nobody is going to try to just live in their car. They're saying they want to do this for fun, or they want to do this as a venture. I just don't see that. So even the other 3 Envogue members, Miss Dawn Robinson, you can go out and you can contact them and reach out to them if you're on financial hard times, because, you know, everybody goes through it. And we know show business. Everybody that's been big time in show business is so shrewd how really a lot of time the groups, the people actually singing in the group, the rappers, and so on, actually be the low people on the feeding chain. The money makers are the directors, are the engineers, are the ghost writers, are the producers. But anyway, back to Miss Dawn Robinson. How you don't have nobody that you could go through or go to, and possibly they could let you stay with them through these times that you are facing. Dawn Robinson left Envogue due to a disagreement over contracts and money, as she felt compensation for their success, leading to a stalemate in negotiations and her eventual departure from the group. She said she was considered very difficult for speaking up about financial concerns within the band. There you go again, see? Again, show business is a shrewd business. It's very, very cutthroat. And for this lady to have to stay in her car for not only a small amount of time, 3 years, that can be a lifetime. That tells me that the assets was wiped out. All money was liquidated. And I'm not probably just talking about Miss Dawn Robinson, but we don't know really the situation of Cindy Heron or Maxine Jones or Miss Terry Ellis. But also I have seen that social media is killing Miss Dawn Robinson and thinking it's funny and ridiculing her because she stayed in her car for 3 years. But think about it as a homeless person. And I have said this before and I have seen with my eyes. You cannot just go and ask people not only for help, but you don't have no place to stay. In this time where things are just so crazy and outlandish and people are just doing crazy things, evil things, things that you can imagine years back then, people are not going to let you stay with them. And I'm not proud of how she stayed in her car, but at least she took it upon herself to say, I'm not going to bother nobody. I'm going to face this by myself. I'm not going to be a burden to nobody. Because even if you're homeless and people got it going good and people are living in a home, they have food, shelter, etc., people will consider you a burden. But this is sad, man, because our famous acts were show business, musicians, athletes, or whatever. They have put in the work. They had did the time, which I mean making the money. They have put out, just like Envogue, #1 hits, possibly albums of the year. They should have accumulated, they should have made the money where when they're retired and in their golden years, they shouldn't have to be worrying about, or they shouldn't have to be homeless with nowhere to go. But again, bad management, bad financial advice. You can put money in stocks or anything, or you can have people just watch your money. But then when the time comes and you hope your money is building so you can retire anything, it's no more money. I'm going to bring up Terrell Owens for a fact, T.O. All the money that T.O. had, great football career, Hall of Famer, possibly top 5 receiver of all time. But it has been said, why T.O. doesn't have any money, because from bad investments, bad advice from financial advisors. Back to Miss Dawn Robinson. It is sad that, again, this woman is staying homeless, or was homeless, staying in her car. Where is the family again? Does Miss Dawn Robinson have any kids? How you gonna let your mom, if you're a child of hers, siblings, brothers or sisters, how you gonna let your sister just stay in a car for 3 years homeless? And I know the response to that is, well, we don't know. I beg to differ on that too, because I guarantee you know she wasn't deceased or dead. She's a famous person. You can keep up with her. From Google to all kind of research background, something could have been done where this woman didn't have to stay in her car for 3 years. But again, I commend her because she didn't want to be a problem for nobody. She didn't want it to be said knocking on the door. She didn't want to come to nobody like she needed a handout. Because when people know that you're having problems and in despair, don't have no money, seem like that's the best time that in situations they will knock you down. You would think they will come to your aid and be there for you strong, but they will knock you down. They will turn their back and go on by their business. It always should be said, you can go to somebody, family, siblings, good friends, when you don't have nothing. But Miss Dawn Robinson obviously couldn't go to nobody. Because if she would, you can't just make me believe in my mind that this woman just wanted to live in her car for 3 years. You cannot make me believe in my mind that this woman wanted to try a trend that she called van life around the coronavirus time, because that's what a lot of people was doing. This woman was famous, have money, supposed to have money, known. Nobody could come to her aid, and I understand again, around the corona time, people was up against drastic and harsh measures. So they did what they had to do. But this is a legend. Envogue is a legendary group. I used to love their songs. I remember I used to have a crush on them ladies. Them were some beautiful ladies. And it's sad that our musician pioneers that have put in the work, they have done their due diligence, they have laid down the groundwork, #1 hits, somewhat blueprints. And you mean to tell me this lady, Miss Dawn Robinson of Envogue, as I said earlier, one of 4 of quartet of beautiful women, has to stay in a car for 3 years because nobody will come to her rescue. Nobody will offer to come to her rescue. Nobody wanted to be that shoulder that she could lean on. This is Nino. 2 pennies, 2 cents. Love.